remaster, but as a remake. And over the weekend at PlayStation Experience, we saw some more of that remake. Alex Ray Korea, Anthony Carboni, Peter Brown. Who's excited for Final Fantasy?
I'm going to defer to the Final Fantasy scholar here.
Yeah, you guys.
And let her.
Here's another one.
Are you a Final Fantasy scholar as well?
I would say so.
I don't
disagree, but
I don't know you the way I know Alexa.
that's okay.
Trailer looked cool. We saw a bunch of Midgar, and for a reason,
That's
it
like
seems.
the first 20 minutes of the game.
And the first downloadable chapter of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. What's up,
Yes.
episodic content?
So subsequently, I guess Square put out a press release, I think it was on Sunday, saying that
multi-part.
the story will be told across a multi-part series with each entry providing its own unique experience. As Final Fantasy fans, does that ring alarm bells or does that sound fine?
So I go both ways. I am not, as Anthony is not, the biggest fan of Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
It's a fine game. It's not the best one.
No.
But
No.
and considering they've put out the game and then they made this the prequel, the sequel, the CGI movie, the spin-off mobile games, that world has been beaten into the ground and they've just sort of, it's all sort of dried up to me. But the fact that we're going to get Final Fantasy VII in a different way, in a different format, piques my interest. Yes, cool. I'd like to see you, if you can make this a fresh experience, yeah, I'll play it. Also, I'm a Final Fantasy nerd, so I will. However, my worry with the episodic thing is it going to be something like what Telltale does, in which each episode or part is self-contained? Because what happens if, say, the first episode is all Midgar and the second episode is pulling a random whatever, Cosmo Canyon or something? If you want to go back and complete the quests that you didn't or do things that you didn't in Midgar in episode 1, can you go back to previous content? Is it going to pile on top of each other, or will they be self-contained experiences? Because part of what makes Final Fantasy so appealing is that you have these vast worlds that you can go back and do whatever side quest when you want it. And a lot of people, I know we were talking about this earlier, after you do the story, you spend the next 20 hours grinding and cleaning up everything else that you didn't do in the game.
Yeah.
Can we do that here? We don't know.
I've played maybe I think the first like 3 or 4 hours of Final Fantasy VII, only recently as well this year. So I'm not a scholar when it comes to this. Peter, is it the type of game as well that you can drift forward into areas that you maybe shouldn't early, or does the story very much sort of like unlock stuff?
It's pretty linear. There's a lot of side content that people love, even optional stuff like getting Vincent or Yuffie, for example. But
Chocobo breeding.
I mean, those are
yeah.
Get that gold chocobo.
Golden saucer.
Wait, your turn.
Look, I think the fact that this is happening at all is kind of a boon for people who appreciate this game. And while I would love to have a faithfully recreated, like, massive new version of Final Fantasy VII, I'm not kidding myself. There's no way Square Enix is going to do that faithfully and 100%. But if I can get really well-composed vignettes that take me back to the game that I really love and showcase it in a new way and let me interact in that world, I'll be really happy. Now, the fact that they're charging a full price per episode...
Well, we don't know that yet.
Okay, well, the fact that it sounds like they might be doing that anyway, it is, that's concerning. If it's something like a Telltale game, wow, like, who can complain at that point?
But when you say vignettes, that sort of raises or rings alarm bells in my head.
I can't tell the difference looking at the two of them side by side.
Because that could mean that it's not the entire game. Then that could mean that this is just like a 3-hour segment. Oh, you remember this cool part of Final Fantasy VII?
See, here's the thing: most people never talk about Final Fantasy VII and how it relates to today, right? So many games in the series are so far like out of the realm of possibilities, and I'm not saying materia is a thing or that chocobos are real. But
what?
I know. As much as we
But he's
love them
also
to be.
not saying chocobos aren't real.
Right.
Okay.
No. For all you
We're
kids out
not.
there.
We're not drawing a conclusion on chocobos.
It's my favorite Pokemon.
But this game really at its heart is about corporations running amok. It is about exploiting the environment. It is about rebels taking on forces that are insurmountable to the common man, and doing so in a way that's destructive but also revolutionary. And I think that those themes are really powerful, and you don't need this stuff like Chocobo Racing to do that. And frankly,
But that is one of the
let's
one
not
of the
get
high points
crazy.
of the thing, though.
I love Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
It is my favorite game alongside Tactics, but at the same time, we still have the original. And we can even play it on PlayStation 4 right now. So if people love it as much as they say they do, put your money where your mouth is and play it, But if we're honest with ourselves, we cannot expect Square to take a game that featured pre-rendered backgrounds and create a fully fleshed out 3D world around it, one-to-one, for the
right.
price
So-
of one game.
No,
They also
that's
said
totally
that they're
it.
not doing that.
Yeah, they said they're going to try to keep as much of the content in as possible. They're going to cut some stuff, but they said they're also going to be adding some stuff. So I get this feeling that they want these episodes to be longer than just a few hours. I'm thinking they're thinking, you know, maybe these are 20 hours a piece. Maybe these are things that are worth buying because it's the length of an average game. And I have to say, as somebody, as a person sitting on the couch who's not a fan of Final Fantasy VII, who like, I get it. It is the game that built the PlayStation. I understand why it has such a huge place in so many people's hearts. I never liked the game. But watching this, the way they're doing it with the Kingdom Hearts / Final Fantasy 15 combat, the way they're kind of like making it new and making it a more accessible game in a way that doesn't seem to be taking away from the aesthetic and the things that the fans love. I may like this version of Final Fantasy VII. This may wind up being a net positive, right? Because everybody who loves Final Fantasy VII gets what they want, and I get a Final Fantasy VII, and you get a Final Fantasy VII, that maybe you make it past the first few hours.
Right, yeah.
You know? Maybe we all wind up liking it a lot more, and it kind of takes this dried up world that you're talking about and makes it
Super
new
dry.
again.
Yeah.
Super dry.
It's almost the
super
most-
dry.
It's like the most thankless job in development trying to make this game, because some people are going to want it to evolve, some people are going to want it to be as true to form as
Right.
possible, some people would be happy with the new graphics, some people want just an up-resed version, the purest remastering you could possibly
Yeah.
think of. Do you think that, like, you guys have expressed sort of a bit more, you guys are okay with this changing it up a bit, you know, in terms of gameplay, in terms of how it's released, all that sort of stuff. Do you think the general Final Fantasy fan 20 years later is going to be as accepting of those changes?
Yes and no. I know there are a lot of people that are or will be angry that it's episodic. It's not, they're not getting Final Fantasy VII remade a game. They're getting something in pieces. And I have been on the internet and I have seen this ad.
Don't go on the internet.
I know, right?
That is literally
that.
where all the sad is.
do
But
that.
I mean, and there are people out there that also they love Final Fantasy but won't play 7, the original,
Right.
because they think it looks bad and they don't want to waste their time with it. I think that the people that love the game for what it is will play this and be like, I'm getting something I love, like Peter said, again in a new way. And yeah, but I also can definitely see people being outraged about it. Personally, as someone who's like big fan of the series, again not a fan of 7, I really like it. I like give me Final Fantasy anything that freaking like the chibi Final Fantasy game, World of Final Fantasy is coming out next year, and it looks like a kid's game. I'm gonna play it because it's Final Fantasy and I'm a nerd and it has the name on it, so I
Yeah.
have to get it. But no, I can see this both earning a lot of
Yeah.
love, but also kind of losing a lot.
Yeah. Well, you guys have had your say. Now it's up to the internet. Let us know what you think. Final Fantasy VII remaster, remake. Not remasters. Remade.
Remake.
Remake.
You got it.
Remake.
One of those is right.
Final Fantasy VI remake.
Don't tease me.
No.
Don't tease me.
Let us know what you think. Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Put your thoughts in the comment box below.